It is time. It's time. It's time for you to level up your life. You know, I truly believe the world right now needs you to level up your life more than ever. The world needs you to level up your business, your mindset, your way of being. Our world needs the version of you that will help others see what's possible when one really takes on their own personal transformation. So I want to share a couple of tips with you, a couple of ideas on how to level up your mindset and thus your own life so that you can be the example for your family, for your community, for the people that you love, that anyone can change. We all have the capacity to change, but it starts with leveling up our mindset, leveling up our way of being. And guess what? There's absolutely no better personal transformation process than writing a book. So I want to share some of the most extraordinary and even surprising ways that our clients, and finally writing their book, have leveled up their life. And you can actually take these on right now as you watch this program. You can actually practice these tips on leveling up your mindset, and you will start moving in your world at surprising and miraculous levels. These benefits are not hypothetical, the stories I'm about to share with you. They are real phenomena that my clients and even myself have experienced in our actual lives. So let's launch in to our very first leveling up and elevating your mindset. So to level up your life, you actually have to level up you and your thoughts. That means you have to be aware of your thoughts, and that's called metacognition. The actual act of thinking about how you're thinking, bringing awareness to your thoughts. Like, what am I thinking right now? What are my most reoccurring thoughts during the day? Becoming aware of your thought life is tip number one. And again, the fancy word for this is metacognition, but simply just start being aware. Like, what am I thinking right now? And sometimes I tell myself, I'm aware, I'm awake. What am I thinking? And I bring awareness to my thought life. Whether you journal it, write it down in your journal, what you're noticing, you're thinking about the most, or whether you just bring awareness of your thoughts throughout the day. Tip number one is metacognition. Become aware of your thought life. If you want to change your thought life, you got to first become aware of where you're at right now. And listen, I know that change is hard, but trust me, you really can change yourself. You can literally dream up a totally new, totally exciting version of yourself. But it starts with your thought life. So we're going to get into a bit of psychology here. I can't help it. I just find the brain and behavioral psychology so fascinating. That is my degree. And my work in my degree and my research in psychology has taught me a secret cheat code to level up your thought life. It is in tip number 2. After you're aware of your thought life, tip number 2 is rehearsing a new you. Yeah. Actually practicing new ways of being. So tip number 2 is rehearsing new ways of being. When I was in the dating world, I kept a journal every date I had, not about him, about me. How was I acting? How was I behaving? And I was rehearsing new ways of being in that new dating world. I could recreate myself as a single 42-year-old. Yes, I was 42 when I became single after my divorce. And I decided to utilize dating as a way to level up my way of being and to rehearse new ways of being. So I want you to rehearse new possibilities for how you show up in the world and rehearse these new ways of being. Practice them. You become who you practice to be. And the problem with most people on this planet is they don't realize that power. They just keep practicing their old way of being and nothing ever changes. So you become who you practice to be. Practice new ways of being. The brain works by recognizing and repeating patterns. That's how you create new synapses, new neural connections in your brain. It just recognizes patterns and then repeats them. Well, if that's true in neuroscience, neurology, let's help the brain out and practice new ways of being. Every new way of being, every thought that comes from that new way of being has an electrical signal sent between your brain, the wiring, and then other neurons. So what fires together, wires together. Those connections, those synapses get stronger and stronger with use. In other words, the more you repeat a thought pattern, the more you repeat a new way of being, the more likely your brain is to repeat it unconsciously throughout the rest of your life. So, in order to change the way you think and the way you behave, you practice new ways of being. That's strengthening the synapses that thought uses. The only way to do this is with repetition. Lots and lots and lots of repetition. It takes a lot of practice, I know. But remember, you become who you practice to be. The super secret cheat code, you can also make your brain practice newness itself. So tip number 3 is just trying new things. Picking up a guitar, learning the piano, learning a new language. If you want to get really bold and radical, I want you to practice picking up radical ideas, radical new ways of being. I mean radically new, because radical actions lead to radical results. Please notice a distinction here. I didn't say massive action. Tip number 3 isn't about massive action. Tip number 3 is about radical action. I'm talking about coming up with new ideas that seem crazy, nuts, unreasonable, and totally out there. In 1991, I had the most insane idea of my life. I was a second grade teacher. I had a stable job and I was great at it. I had 2 babies at home. I was rising through the ranks of Mary Kay Cosmetics International as my side hustle, and my sales events were starting to attract attention. I was by all measures the most successful I had ever been in my life. I was 30 years old. I was the best wife, the best mom, a great teacher, and then I had an idea. Those Mary Kay sales events, they turned into speeches. Those speeches turned into paid opportunities. And in 1991, the crazy idea I had that changed the trajectory of my life forever, what if I became a professional speaker? I began to imagine a new me, a businesswoman. To me, this idea was crazy. My entire existence revolved around being a wife, a mother, and a school teacher. This version of me was simply not part of my reality, the business side of me, until it was. Until it was. Simply daring to imagine opening my mind to a new possibility as a businesswoman, my brain got better at trying new things. All of a sudden, I saw opportunities everywhere. I let my teaching license expire and I began saying yes. Yes, even with intense fear, even with major imposter syndrome, even with guilt of leaving my 2 babies at home. I just chose to say yes to those speaking engagements. I chose that radical change. And it started to get easier and easier and easier as I began to embody this new way of being. So when you rehearse, tip number 3, when you rehearse this new way of being, it feels imposter syndrome. It feels so inauthentic until it doesn't. Until you have created new neural pathways in your brain. Until you have reprogrammed your subconscious mind. Until the spirit within you collaborates with the future you. Just like me as a professional speaker, you start feeling authentic in this new role. The truth is, getting to that next level will require you to try an idea so new that it scares the hell out of you. I can think of one right now. Write your book. Yes. Is there anything more crazy, more nuts, more unreasonable out there and completely new than becoming an international author? Putting your story out there for the whole world to read? It's time to take the first radical step that shatters your thought patterns and default strategies. It's time to write your book. All it takes is willingness. Are you willing to admit that your current patterns aren't serving you anymore? Are you willing to practice trying on new ways of being? And guess what? Realizing that you have blind spots, that you don't know everything, and that you are still willing to grow is the most liberating and empowering place to be. You deserve to live a life you love. It's not just good for you, it's good for everyone around you. Because I promise you, my friend, when you level up, everyone around you will level up. It's not an accident that you are hearing my voice and watching this right now. It's not an accident that you're hearing this level up call to action. It's time. It's your time. You can change. You can overcome old images of who you think you are. You can conquer the inner battles and the conversations that keep you small. You can silence that voice that keeps you small. You can. You can face your imposter syndrome and you can bust through it. You can. You have the capacity to change. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I know. I've experienced complete failure, abandonment, low self-esteem, all of the inner battles, and I'm still here, changing every day. Becoming an author helped me to embrace a new mindset, a new vision of myself, leveling up how I was showing up in the world, leveling up my thought pattern, rehearsing new ways of being. And it will do the same for you. So let's do it together. Whether you hire us at Hope Publishing House or another author's program, consider just focusing in on the most remarkable, extraordinary ride of your life to transforming who you are and how you show up in the world. You'll spend 9 short months with us attending fun and inspiring retreats, moving through Hope's 25-step curriculum, receiving coaching every week, and completing the easy-to-follow homework assignments, just filling in the templates. You'll be amazed at your transformation. You'll be amazed how you level up your mindset, what you think about, how you rehearse new ways of being, how you level up how you show up in the world. And in the end of 9 months, this radical personal development program called Writing Your Book, you'll have a complete and marketable book to show for it and ready to bring in the profits. So I want to encourage you today that it's time. It's time for you to level up your life, level up your thought patterns, level up who you're being in the world, level up how you show up in the world, level up your example for your family, your children, your community, and then level up your impact. And whether it's by writing a book or just practicing this 3-step formula, which is metacognition, notice your thought patterns. Just notice them, become aware of them, wake up to your thought patterns, make conscious choices to think thoughts that hold a higher vibration, that bring more joy to your life, more inspiration. You have control of your thoughts. And when you harness the power of your thoughts, you harness the power of your life. And then tip number 2 or strategy number 2 is rehearsing new ways of being. Yeah, you create new neural pathways in your brain when you rehearse new ways of being. You just practice showing up newly in the world. You become who you practice to be. And then finally, tip number 3, to radically up-level your life and your mindset, Try something new. I mean, radically new. Whether it's, yes, I'm writing my memoir. Yes, I'm picking up that foreign language and I will learn it and study it every single day. Yes, I am taking ballroom dancing. Yes, I am taking a month off and going on sabbatical and traveling Europe in solo travel. Whatever it is for you. For me, it was radically changing my career from wife, mother, and teacher to global thought leader and businesswoman. If I can do it, a girl from Paradise, California, a little girl from Paradise, California, to a global leader with a global business, making a global impact, then you can do it too. Much love. Get that up-level process started. Thanks, everyone. Are you ready to share your wisdom with the world? A published book gives you instant credibility, increased income, and a global impact. Get registered for the Hope Publishing House Authors Program, and let's make a difference together.